After Caitlin Clark's injury, ticket prices have gone down 75%, which we knew would happen because if Caitlin's not there, we don't care.
Obviously, we've seen that Caitlin Clark is injured, so the get-in price for the Sky versus Fever game on June 7th was $86, literally 48 hours ago. Now it's down to $25 after it was announced that Caitlin Clark was injured. So this is a 71% drop in ticket prices just because of Caitlin Clark's injury alone.
Angel Reese entered an arena that was so deserted that you could hear a popcorn kernel fall to the ground twice. No admirers, no pity, no Caitlin Clark. Reese went completely crazy. It was more dramatic than a reunion of Real Housewives, we assure you. When Queen realized she was no longer the primary attraction, what happened? This quiet stadium battle is more messy than a fast food bag in your back seat. So fasten your seatbelt. You'll be shocked by this response.
And unfortunately, news broke that Caitlin Clark unfortunately has sustained a quad strain injury from the sound of it and is out for, it sounds like, at least 2 weeks. Justin, did you have some more info on that?
Yeah, 2 weeks that she's out with a quad strain injury. The Fever head coach, Stephanie White, this is a quote from her talking about this. Obviously, Caitlin Clark is a competitor and wants to play. Obviously, everyone wants to watch her play, but for me, it's about making sure we address this in a way that doesn't affect her long term.
Sounds totally reasonable. I think obviously she's instrumental to what that team does.
Angel Reese walked into the deserted stadium as if she were the main act on Beyoncé's global tour and it were Madison Square Garden. However, Caitlin Clark, the audience, and the buzz were absent. Just the sound of squeaky shoes, missed layups, and a lone security guard who is most likely looking over his fantasy football roster. Every time the ball clanked off the rim, the reverberation was almost audible. Twang! One more rabbit lost. Even the hoop seemed to be attempting to get a restraining order at this point.
Caitlin Clark might be a demigorgon. I was watching the WNBA. There was nothing on the TV, so I said, why do I just support women? I'm a proud feminist anyways. It was one of the worst things I've ever watched. All I saw was straight bricks. But Caitlin Clark might be a demigorgon. That girl can hoop. I will say, Caitlin Clark, your ass need a new team. The people on your team some trash. And I know you can't even tell them that they're trash, so I might need to talk to your coach. I was watching the last 4 minutes of the game. I know y'all niggas ain't watch it, so I'm gonna explain it to y'all. Caitlin Clark had like 6 open passes to their teammates. Wide open layups. They missed every single layup. Them niggas lost the game. And for a game, Caitlin Clark had to take a 99% contested 3 because she knows she can't rely on them sorry ass niggas, so she had to shoot herself. Caitlin Clark, we gonna need to find you another team. I would say pairing you with Angel Reese would be some cinema, but if your teammates is breaking like that, your ass definitely can't be with Angel Reese. We need to pair you up with like Asia Wilson. Let me know what y'all think in the...
The self-proclaimed Bayou Barbie is having a hard time out here. Although she has been promoted as the league's face, she has recently been more like the blooper reel. Let's face it, nobody is paying their hard-earned money on courtside tickets to see someone shoot 2 for 17 and brag like she just cured cancer. So let's get that straight before anybody jumps in with a hate diatribe.
How do you feel about just her impact on the game, and specifically WNBA, and then their future game that they have?
With Caitlin Clark not being there for this game, it is obvious that people were not going to want to see the game without her, because it's the camaraderie. Is almost like seeing Bird against the Lakers without Magic, or Magic against Boston without Bird.
While all of this is going on, Caitlin Clark is being double-teamed, hacked, pushed, tripped, perhaps pickpocket, and, let's not forget, charged with mild assault. Referees are completely unconcerned. The whistle remains in its holster like it belongs to a Wild West sheriff. And Caitlin, maybe rugby tackled mid-jumper. You kind of expect them to blame her for stopping the mugging. It's the WNBA version of the Hunger Games, not basketball.
This is not the time to hit the panic button, but it's time to feel concerned about the Indiana Fever. They are horrible without Caitlin Clark. They look awful. Caitlin Clark is literally the Michael Jordan of the WNBA. She makes everybody around her better. Like, Lexi Hull is literally Steve Kerr. Sophie Cunningham may be John Paxson. Aaliyah Boston might be Horace Grant. I'm dead serious, man. This team is not good without her. Kelsey Mitchell.
Every time Caitlin Clark touches the ball, it feels like a legend has returned. The stadiums are packed, not for the league or the logo, but for her. With a three-point shot like a laser and court vision beyond her years, she's the star, the spectacle, and the highlight reel fans come to see. Yet, somehow, the league seems to think sidelining her is the way forward. If she's removed from the spotlight, the arenas could empty faster than a concert crowd after the final song. Angel Reese can rightfully claim her own spotlight, and she deserves it, but the numbers don't lie. Attention is on Clark. Fans are buying tickets for her, learning the game through her, and even the silence in the stands seems to say, we're here for Caitlin too.
Dig in deep. This is an athlete who has 5 million followers on social media. 5 million. And yet, only 300,000 people watch the game against Brazil. 300,000. Comparatively, the player you hate, the player you think is overrated, the player that you say is being followed by a MAGA cult and followed by a bunch of her team against Brazil drew 1.3 million viewers on television for a preseason game that they won by 64 points.
The league is trying to haze the golden goose instead of building her up. Caitlin Clark gets hammered every possession, and refs act like they don't see it. She's treated like a problem, not a star. Meanwhile, Reese gets praised for intensity, but Clark shows emotion, and she's labeled too flashy or selfish. Fans aren't stupid, they're coming for number 22. They want skill, drama, and real basketball, not missed layups and post-game tweets about being doubted. Reese may have swagger, but Clark has the game, and you can't fake that. This isn't TikTok, it's pro basketball. Finish at the rim before you celebrate.
God. Angel Reese went on a tirade the other day, talking about how many people are now tuning in to watch women's basketball, not just because of Caitlin Clark, but because of Angel Reese as well. Saying a lot of women have done so much for the sport, but specifically, people are watching because of me too. That's what Angel Reese said. Folks, in last video we were talking about Kennedy Carter. It was her shot. She had a shot tonight. She could have captivated whatever 50, 60, 70, maybe 100,000 people are watching that game. She could have stole the attention span of that.
The rim is taking more damage than the defense, but this isn't just about Clark versus Reese. It's a league issue. The WNBA is benching its biggest draw and wondering why fans aren't showing up. That's like cutting the star from a movie and blaming the audience for walking out. Ratings dip when Clark's not on the court, but instead of looking inward, the league blames society or bad luck. Meanwhile, overly physical play is turning the game into a fight night, and fans didn't sign up for that. People came for basketball, not chaos.
You're taking a look at your screen. You're seeing a lot of empty seats, but folks, I don't want you to be alarmed. These are not empty seats. These are people actually dressed up as empty seats. That whole top row where you see 2 people in a section, 3 people in a section, nobody in a section, even in the middle row, you see it empty. I mean, it's just empty there. Where are all these people that Angel Reese are talking about? Where are all these people that Angel Reese is saying are coming to watch women's basketball? More specifically, because of her.
The line between competitive fire and reckless aggression is thin, but some players aren't just crossing it, they're leaping over and flaunting it. Angel Reese moves like she's stuck in traffic, fouling, trash-talking, and mugging like it's a drama scene, mixing confidence with arrogance and hostility. It's not just for show. She's swinging and pushing like she wants to send opponents to urgent care. Brittany Griner, celebrated for her return, brings more brute force than finesse, lumbering around like Godzilla in the paint and challenging anyone who dares oppose her. The league calls it tenacity, but sometimes it feels more like a WWE match than basketball.
Fever showed up and showed out in its blowout win over the Chicago Sky. The game was filled with a bunch of drama. There was a lot of tension between Angel and Caitlin, and I'm here to tell you, Angel did speak with reporters immediately after the game. Caitlin Clark captured a triple-double, and with all that being said, roll the footage.
How did you feel like you guys did in those 3 areas?
Yeah, I don't think we did
them at the best that we could. Obviously, first game, we got to look back at the film and do things better. I think we definitely had good spurts where we could see that we could definitely get back, definitely rebound, and definitely play in transition. So I think we'll just go back to
DJ Carrington uses chaos and hopes the refs are asleep as her defense, relying on cheap fouls, intimidation, and borderline violence rather than skill. It's not toughness, it's just harsh play, and the league seems to be accepting this as normal. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark quietly dominates with skill, vision, and fun, throwing precise passes instead of punches. In a league stuck on old-school physicality, she brings a Steph Curry-style finesse but gets robbed by refs who ignore the foul she suffers. She's repeatedly blindsided and body-checked, yet the whistle stays silent as if officials are too distracted to call the game fairly.
I might have to repeat it like 50 more times because y'all suck. Y'all talk a real big game. Y'all talk a real big game. Y'all tell us just how amazing Angel Reese is. Y'all tell us how y'all ride or die with Angel Reese. And you know what? This ain't on Angel Reese. This isn't even about Angel Reese. It's about y'all. You suck. All of y'all suck.
The inconsistent officiating in the WNBA is embarrassing and risky. Caitlin Clark gets hit with fouls that would be flagrant twos in the NBA, yet no calls are made. And if she reacts, she gets a technical. Meanwhile, players like Reese can yell and taunt without consequences, revealing a loud, arrogant double standard. Worse, the league does nothing but watch. They want respect and expansion, but ignoring blatant fouls and chaos only makes the game dull and frustrating. Fans want skill, stories, and real basketball, not slow-motion brawls or players getting targeted for playing hard. This isn't empowering. It's driving away the very audience the league needs.
How much this continues. Is there going to be a fall off, weeks to come? Is there going to be a fall off in the viewers weeks to come? And if it continues to make that difference in the sales and in the output of what everything the brand is doing, then it's going to raise another situation to where people got to put way more respect on Caitlin Clark's name.
The absurdity is that Caitlin Clark isn't the one stirring drama. She's just playing basketball. Yet she's scolded and blamed for being too good or too hyped. Pundits scramble to explain why the public's MVP is a problem, but spoiler, she's the solution. Imagine a WNBA where talent mattered more than swagger, where open shots didn't come with concussion risks, and refs actually called fouls. Where stars were protected, not penalized. Fans would pay to watch that league. Clark could build it. But instead, the league seems determined to stifle its own success, rewarding rough play and punishing skill and beauty. It's like choosing microwave nachos when a gourmet chef is right there. Eventually, someone in charge has to realize thuggery doesn't fill seats. Talent, joy, and greatness do.
Ticket prices are plummeting. Since Caitlin Clark's injury and minimum 2-week absence were announced on Monday, fans are second-guessing how much they're willing to pay to go to a game. Even the get-in price to the Fever's said rivalry game dropped from $86 to $25. It's also worth noting these two road games were expected to be huge, so they were moved to bigger arenas. In fact, the NBA's largest arena in United Center. According to TickPick, the average purchase price for the 5 games until Caitlin is expected to return is down almost $60. The 5 remaining road games in June following Caitlin's expected return still have a get-in price that exceeds $100.
At the moment, the WNBA seems less like a professional sports league and more like a gladiatorial arena. The one league needs is a casual fan who is flipping the television while others may applaud the mayhem. They were not there to wrestle. Basketball was the reason they came. And those fans won't return until the league wakes up and begins to defend guys like Clark, call games honestly, and hold the enforcers responsible. Therefore, don't be surprised if attendance declines. If just one player's ratings increase, don't be shocked. Refrain from becoming upset when someone says, "I'm only watching for Caitlin." It's not a game for the remainder of it at the moment. It's a sideshow. Additionally, no one spends a lot of money to witness a train crash on.